It's Kaylee, the teacher of finances. I am coming on here today for Thoughtful Tuesdays, and I have some stuff to share with you guys about your thinking about your what ifs, all different types of worry that we face each day, and just kind of how we face that and ways to change our thinking in that manner. If you're watching this live, if you'll drop me a 1 in the comments. If you're watching this after I come off live stream, if you'll drop me a 2, that would be wonderful. So, is everybody's kids at home today? My kids are home from school, and y'all, let me tell you, it is so hard. I remember being a teacher. When I was a teacher, I loved snow days, and it was great because my kids got to be out of school, and I got to be out of school. And of course, me now working from home, not teaching, they get to be out of school, and I still have to work, right? But it's okay. I get to work from home, and so that's a blessing, and I enjoy it. But it is really hard with my kids being home today. They're in and out constantly. So if they interrupt this live, it is what it is. Okay. So jumping into the topic. So your what ifs, switch your what ifs. So instead of thinking about what like the worst that could happen, what if you change your mindset to the best thing that could happen? So we spend a lot of our time fearing the inevitable and how much we think about how much of what we fear that actually comes to life. And so I actually pulled up some statistics. I put them on the bottom just to kind of talk about this. So on average, in a study that they had done, I can't remember where it was at, but there was a study that's been completed at one of the big universities. And on average, 91% of participants' worries did not come true. So that's practically like 8% did come true. So stop and think about how much time we worry about so many things. We worry about if this is going to go wrong, if that's going to go wrong, like just all these different what ifs. And only 8% of those things. So out of 100 times we have worries, maybe 8 of them come true. That is insane to me. And then there was another number that really threw me, that kind of just made my mind spin. But worrying took up almost 25% of that person's thinking time a day. So imagine how much time you could use if you weren't worrying all the time. Like imagine how much more productive you could be if you weren't worrying all the time. So why is it so important to like try to think of the positive and not the negative? Is one, it drains you. Like it is exhausting to sit and think about what if this happens, what if that happens. You waste so much time just anticipating consequences, complications, risk, and things that could possibly go wrong. And so, like, if you looked at it, think of it like if it's an app in the background of your phone. So if you have all those apps on your phone and they're constantly running in the background, even though they're not at the forefront of your screen, they're still in the background. And what is it doing to your phone? It's dying, right? It's constantly just sucking the battery down. And so when you start to think about your mindset and like transforming your mindset in a different way, think about how much more battery your body would have, how much more energy you would have, how much more time you could focus on looking at other things and being productive. So most successful people are those that are going to be focusing on the possibilities and the opportunity and the potential, not the things that could go wrong. So it doesn't mean that you need to like ignore the risk or the challenges that are possibly going to happen in life, and that the roadblocks that could keep you from moving forward, but you just have to make a shift in your mindset. And so how can you do that? You just identify the best things that could possibly happen. So in any type of situation, instead of looking at it like, what if I don't make a team, or what if I'm not successful at that interview, you could look at it the other way and just say, well, what if I do? And so, yeah, I mean, maybe it's, thinking like being too positive or whatever, but it's not. The more positive vibes that you put in and that you put out, the more positive things that happen in your life. So instead of wondering like, what if I speak up, I lose my job? What if you thought, what if I speak up, it changes the dynamics of my job and the situation I am in with my job? Another thing you could think about is if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, then that may be why, because you're constantly digging yourself deeper and deeper and deeper. So instead of digging yourself deeper, start digging your way back up out of it. So just thinking about how you use those words in your life and the way that you are analyzing situations and the way that you're talking to yourself really does change the dynamics of how your daily life goes. I know I've talked about this before, but if you wake up in the morning and you think, man, I'm happy to be up this morning, versus, oh my gosh, I have to get up, it's cold outside, the roads are this and this and this and this, it really changes your whole mindset. And so just really being proactive in what you're thinking about and how you're thinking about it is super important. And then also, just being as thinking forward and changing the possibilities of things. So, of course, as a life insurance agent, I think about all kinds of different things and different stuff that could happen in your life. So, what could you do to prevent some of the biggest fears that we have? I've talked about this before. I talked about it the other day. My biggest fear, one of the big things I've always am scared of is cancer. And so, what if you could change those fears? What if you were able to, maybe it's your income, what if you're able to find a side hustle that could help you from worrying about having enough money to pay the bills? What if there were, you worry about, okay, your husband travels and he has a dangerous job. Well, what if you prepare that, not that you want to prepare something happen to him, but if you're always thinking about how can you change the end game, then it changes the way that you're facing your days every single day. And I personally have faced this because for so long, Colton and I both were in this really negative mindset. We both just was always worried about what's going to go wrong. What's going to go wrong tomorrow? What's going to go wrong today? What's going to go wrong in the next 5 seconds, right? We were always thinking like that. And it seriously felt like there was always something going wrong. Every time we were maybe on a good, positive vibe, something would go wrong and it would take us back 5 steps. So when you're always thinking of ways of situations going wrong, they're likely going to happen more often than not, or they're going to happen more so than if you're thinking positive. And I know it sounds so crazy because you're like, oh, well, I can't help it. No, you're right. You can't help when things happen in your life. Life happens. A lot of it's out of our control. But what you can control is how you handle that situation. And if you're handling that situation in a manner that you're thinking positive of, what if XYZ happens, and instead of thinking, oh, it's going to make me depressed, you take it and say, oh, well, I'm going to make the best of it and I'm going to turn this into a life lesson and I'm going to keep moving forward. It changes so much in your life. If you don't believe me, just try it for a little while. And I say that because, again, we were in a negative spot in our lives. We were just always negative. And finally, I told him, like, look, let's just look at it differently. Your kids are driving you insane. Like right now, they're at home. I love my kids to death. But they, like I said, they keep coming in and out, in and out, in and out. But at the end of the day, like, I'm thankful I have my kids. When you are dealing with your children sometimes and you're stressed and you have a lot of worries going on in your life, it's easy for you to be like, oh my gosh, why do they have to act that way? Oh my goodness, why are they constantly asking these questions we've already answered a million times? I know I'm not the only parent that feels that way. I'm just maybe the one that will say it out loud. But it is what it is. They're kids, we're adults, we have a lot going on in life. It's hard to balance and manage that. Even as a teacher, it was like, guys, I have taught you that the sound A says ah or a million times. Why are we not getting that, right? But look at it in a different manner. Like, okay, yes, we have 2 very hyperactive twins. They're jumping off the walls 24/7, but at least they're hyperactive and at least they are healthy, right? So trying to find those ways. We had heater issues yesterday. And yes, we have a home warranty. Yes, we had to take care of that home warranty and pay the little service fee. But thank goodness we had a home warranty, because what if the whole heater would have went out? So it's like one of those things, like, at least we have it, and there's always something positive you can find within a situation. Even the worst situations, there's something positive you can find in it. If you doubt me, go look up stories. Go find stories of people that have went through crazy traumatic experiences in their life and how they turned it around to help them in the best and to grow to be the best person that they were. So Tuesdays are like my mind. Instead of doing mindset Mondays, Tuesdays are kind of like my mindset thing. And so I'm huge into mindset and personal growth. As a teacher, I wish so many times that I could go in and like talk to admin about what they could do for teachers to make their lives better. Because as a teacher, we did PD, right? And I do PD every day now as well. But we did professional development training all the time. We spent so many hours outside of the classroom doing professional development. But what if we did like personal development for teachers, or what if we did personal development all the time? Since I started doing personal development for myself, the growth I've seen in myself is insane. As well as Colton, like I've seen Colton grow so much just because of personal development. And so mindset is a huge, huge factor to me in like everything you do in your life. It doesn't matter if you're self-employed. It doesn't matter if you are working for a job, working for somebody else, stay at home mom, whatever the case may be. Mindset is so crucial because it literally changes the way you face every single second of your day. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys stay warm. If you have ice and snow, and I'm looking at my cameras over here, it's still yucky out there. But if you have any bad weather, I pray that you all stay safe, stay warm, and I will see you guys later.